encyclopedia work, children, and the work was Science and Civilization in China. And they're still adding, children. They are still adding more and more information to this encyclopedia, which was started by him. So he was the person who was largely responsible for bringing the world into attention about the amazing achievements of ancient China in this field of science and technology. Let us see the contribution made by him, children. In 1947, the physician and scholar of the Chinese science and technology, Joseph Needham, gave a lecture on science and society in ancient China. Now, this led to the efforts of study of the origin of it, the influence of this Chinese technology and science in the world history. Next is this, as I have told you, children, it's an ongoing project of adding series of 9 or more volumes, and all have been compiled under the name as Science and Civilization in China. And this has made the people of the world aware that how advanced these Chinese were in the field of technology, science, and medicine in ancient times. Next comes the several questions which comes into our mind also, and which was put up over here by Joseph Needham. Why did China not develop a scientific revolution, and why did the Chinese technology fall behind that of Europe? Or in another way, if we express it, children, then why did the modern science not develop in Chinese civilization but only in Europe? He asked the same question about the Indian civilization too. Why is it falling so behind the European civilization and technology? Children, you can see the four inventions of the ancient Chinese: paper making, block printing, silk, ceramics. And how the paper is being made now was not the same earlier. So these were the things which were used for making the paper. That is the hemp. It's a kind of a tree, children. So from the hemp stem they used to make it. Then from the mulberry bark, from the bamboo, from the rattan. So in this manner the paper was made earlier. Not the case now. Now, here, children, we find the reference of the paper, which was first made by the Chinese advisor to the king, Kai Lun, and he made the paper out of this rice. Then there were several Chinese papers being made with the help of rice, silk, hemp, bamboo, and cotton. So it was the combination of these five elements. Comes, what about this 4000, children? 4000 BC, the Chinese invented a type of writing with the characters, and those characters had meanings, children, rather than the sounds. Now you can see one over here. It is the first writing, children, which was carved on the animal bone, and then they painted those characters on bamboo strips and silk. So children, here we have the invention, and this is the second invention, which is the block printing, children. Now here, children, what exactly was it? It was that there were certain seals or words, and these words or letters, the alphabets, were developed in China using certain wooden blocks. So the name is block printing, with the help of those wooden blocks. Now, how we get a mold, children, these days of different kinds of cartoon characters, which you can dip it in the ink and then put it on the paper, and you get the impression of that cartoon or that character. In that same manner, the blocks had different kinds of seals, different kinds of alphabets, or different kinds of words, which were on the engraved, or it was carved in the wooden blocks. Now, this was used for printing on the paper, not only on paper, children, but on silk and various other material. You can have a look over here, children. You can see on the top over here the image of the blocks which were used for the dress material, that is on the silk. Then you can see the block which was used for these letters on the paper, and then obviously certain blocks were used over here for printing. Now here we have invention 3 children, the movable type. Here you can see it's just the extension of what they have learnt in block printing by trial and error. When they came further, they said that okay, now we can make it more better, more sophisticated. So here they have made those movable type. This movable type was used by them in 1040 CE, that is the Christian era. They carved a single word into a block and then put those blocks in the form of page of writing. Pages were printed to form a book. The Qing dynasty had two groups working for the imperial, for their huge big royal printing office. One group made blanks out of those block woods, and the other group, they carved out the words on those wooden blocks, which you can see over here. You can see image one shows you that it was a sorting tray, and in that tray they used to put those blocks. Okay, and then with an ink they used to have the impression being made on the paper, and for the carving they use different kinds of blades, children, which you can see in the second image. Now here we have the making ceramics. This was the next invention of the Chinese children, of making beautiful ceramic pots, which is world famous and it is still renowned, children. And these pots are so beautifully made, and they are kiln into high temperature so that they are sturdy. They don't crack soon. And we call it today as China ware. Now, after the beautiful making of the ceramic pot comes the next invention of these Chinese, and that was the silk, the fabric silk. And this was discovered accidentally, children, in which they found that the silk worms fell into the cocoons. Okay, the cocoons which fell into the boiling water, and that obviously killed the baby silkworms. But then when they rinsed it out, they could find that there were certain tightly woven strands of silk, and the strands, when I say, those are the yarns of the silk. And when you unwound it into a spool, into a spindle, into a reel, to make a thread about half mile long. So in this manner, from the silkworms, accidentally the people came to know, the Chinese came to know how to make a silk thread, and which is made from the young one of the silkworm. Six threads were twisted together because they are very fine threads, children. So you need six strands of it twisted together to make a thread which is so strong enough that it can be helpful in spinning. If you take only one thread and you would like to spin it in the yarn, into the yarn, you won't be able to do it. So to make a fabric out of it, you have to twist six strands of it. So the Chinese kept this as a secret for a pretty long time. You can see 3,000 years they kept this as a secret. So the Chinese silk was in great demand. In fact, the route from where the traders took the silk from China to different parts of the world is still well known as the Silk Route. Now, this is the silk reeling machine, children. You can have a closer look over here. You can see the yarns, those are the silk yarns. You can see an up kind of thing, which is a triangular thing, that is the pulley, children. And how you have the pulley in the well, in that same manner you have a pulley over here. And then there is a crank, children, and that crank is very useful in moving it manually. Nowadays we don't make use of the silk fabric in such a manner. It is not done manually, but it is electrically, it is driven with the help of electricity. Those are electronic machines which are used for the weaving of the silk. But earlier it was done by hand. It was a hand loom. So in classical Chinese, the silk reading machine is the next invention of the ancient Chinese. Now we come to the activity, children. This is activity one from your textbook. You can go through the questions and the answer which I have answered over here for you. And here we have activity two, children, which is based on paper. They have asked certain questions. So these are the answers to those questions. You can go through at your ease. Here we have activity two again, continued, children, but this time it is with regards to block printing. The questions remain the same, whereas the answer differs. So you can go through. Okay, so here we have the movable type, children, and the movable type has got the same questions, but the answer differs. Please go through. Here we have making ceramics, children. It's the same activity which is continued. Please go through. Activity 2 still continues, children. This time it is regarding the silk, and they have asked certain same questions, but obviously now we have to answer according to the invention of silk. Yes, children, now we have activity 3. Write a reflection on one of the inventions from ancient China. So it's a reflective question, children. Discuss what the invention contributed to civilization. How did it improve the society? What other innovations occurred because of it? Now, this invention of paper, children, was very, very important invention of these ancient Chinese. This is what I felt, so I've written it down. Paper helped in the recording and in the recording of all these things, whether it is the manuscripts, the treatises, the laws, the verdicts for future reference, the development of the skill of writing. All these things were possible only after when the paper was discovered. Next thing is that the invention of the paper also led to the invention of the block printing, children. If there was no paper, then obviously no block printing would have come to being. Then, to make things more sophisticated, they came up with movable type, wherein they used to keep those blocks in the sorting tray and then get it printed, a block printed at one time. Now we cannot think of our lives without paper. It is used in our daily lives and it is being used in different forms, right from books, documents, packaged food, tetra packs, which we have, the decorations, the currency notes, and so on. It has certainly brought about advancement in our civilization, children. All the sectors are dependent on paper. You talk about the education sector, you talk about the religious, banking, commercial, hospitality industry, mass media like newspapers, journals, periodicals, and so on. So it has become a part and parcel of our lives, children. We just can't separate the usage of paper with our lives even for a day. Although the governments of the world are trying to make their economy paperless, children, but they have not met with much success. Next thing and the final thing is that the invention of paper evolved into number of sectors, especially education, and that has led to the development of different branches of knowledge and technology. Now, this is a very simple activity which is given in your textbook, children, activity 4, wherein you have to match the keywords with the description. So they have given you on the top certain keywords, and from that word bank, you have to just match it with the description. I have done that for you. Please check it. So here we have the classwork, and this is a very simple activity, children. Which invention, according to you, was innovative? According to me, it was the paper, and that had made our life easier or better for the people. Now, according to you, you have to write down that invention in your note. Children, here we have one question. It's a critical question, children. If the invention of paper and printing press wouldn't have taken place, where would we have been today? So just a thing to ponder, children. And for the homework, I want you to read the lesson well, children. So children, thank you very much for watching my channel. If you have liked my channel, then please like and share and subscribe. And don't forget to press the bell icon. Take care. Let me see you soon with my some new videos. Till then, stay safe, stay calm. Bye bye.